and he asked me if I would speak today. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Jai Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Krishna Rupale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanande Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachaline Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Askachare Sudharini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So continuing, we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 9, text 43. Since we don't have it for you to chant, I'll just do it. Hopefully. Naivo jite paraduratyaya vaitaranya Twadvirya gayana mahatmrita magna chitta So chetato vimukha chetasa indriyartha Maya sukaya param urvahato vimudam. This, of course, is a verse that Srila Prabhupada many times quoted with reference to Prahlad Maharaj, and especially when he would talk about compassion and love and preaching and serving and trying to rescue the fallen souls of this world. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj, as you know, is what's his age? 5 years old. Who knows? Nobody knows? 5 years old. Are you sure? So 5 years old. Pretty close. Text 43. And I heard it described once that these prayers by Prahlad Maharaj, his statements, are amazing because of him being such a young person, 5 years old. Therefore it says in another place, Kumara Achare Pragya, that this process should begin from the very young age, Kumara. As we get older, we think, well, maybe I'm young enough, I don't have to worry about it, I'll deal with it when I get older. But Prahlad says, no, start when you're young. Because as we get older, we become more entrenched in our own thinking process, and it's very difficult to break that. So Prahlad is a wonderful devotee that's given us the conception, the idea, how to be Krishna conscious. You know, there's another verse, what does he say, with the process of devotional service? Shravana, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana, Padasevana, Archanam Bandhanam, Dasam, Sakyam Atmani Ved. That is also Prahlad Maharaj. So many famous statements from him. So this verse, and just to give you a heads up, tonight we'll be discussing a little bit about preaching because of the nature of this verse and purport, and many other statements by Srila Prabhupada. So in order for us to really get into the mood of Prahlad Maharaj and his relationship with Lord Nrsimhadev, you cannot do that without thinking about the process of preaching Krishna consciousness. And I know next Saturday is Nrsimha Chaturdasi, is that right? Next Saturday? Yeah. It's a very important day for us. So let's try to open our minds. You know, it said the mind is like a parachute. And if you jump out of a plane and you don't open the parachute, what happens? Come on. Participation means prashadam. No participation means no prashadam. You perish. You perish. Maybe you bounce again. So if the mind is like a parachute and you don't open it, you'll have problems. We have to open our minds to allow things to come in. And Srila Prabhupada painstakingly put down this philosophy so we would open our minds and understand what our duties are. So the purport here You can repeat after me. O best of the great personalities.
O best of the great personalities.
I am not at all afraid.
I am not at all afraid
of material existence.
of material existence.
For wherever I stay,
For wherever I stay,
I am fully absorbed in
I am fully absorbed in
thoughts of your glories and activities.
thoughts of your glorious activities.
My concern
My concern
is only
is only
for the fools and rascals
for the fools and rascals
who are making elaborate plans
who are making elaborate plans
for material happiness
for material happiness
and maintaining their families,
and maintaining the families,
societies, and countries.
society and countries.
I am simply concerned
I am simply concerned
with love for them.
with love for them.
And in the purport, by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Gita. Throughout the entire world, everyone is making big, big plans to adjust the miseries of the material world. And this is true at present, in the past, and the future. Nonetheless, although they make elaborate political and social, cultural plans, they have all been described herein as vimudha, fools. The material world has been described in Bhagavad Gita as dukalayam ashashvatam, temporary and miserable. But these fools are trying to turn the material world into sukhalayam, a place of happiness, not knowing how everything acts by the arrangement of material nature, which works in her own way. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham himanyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, text 27. There is a plan for material nature, personally known as Durga, to punish the demons. Although the asuras, the godless demons, struggle for existence, they are directly attacked by the goddess Durga, who is well equipped with 10 hands, with different types of weapons to punish them. She is carried by her lion carrier, or the modes of passion and ignorance. Everyone struggles very hard to fight through the modes of passion and ignorance and conquer material nature. But at the end, everyone is vanquished by nature's laws. There is a river known as Vaitarani between the material and spiritual worlds, and one must cross this river to reach the other side, or the spiritual world. This is an extremely difficult task. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7:14, this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. The same word duratyaya means very difficult, is used here. Therefore, one cannot surpass the stringent laws of material nature except by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, although all materialists are baffled in their plans, they try again and again to become happy in this material world. Therefore, they have been described as vimudha, first-class fools. As for Prahlad Maharaj, he was not at all unhappy. For although he was in the material world, he was full of Krishna consciousness. Those who are Krishna conscious, trying to serve the Lord, are not unhappy. Whereas one who has no assets in Krishna consciousness and is struggling for existence is not only foolish, but extremely unhappy also. Prahlad Maharaj was happy and unhappy simultaneously. He felt happiness and transcendental bliss because of his being Krishna conscious. Yet, he felt great unhappiness for the fools and rascals who make elaborate plans to be happy in this material world. Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the word that stands out for me in this discussion is the word compassion. So I took the liberty to look it up to make sure we're on the same page in terms of what it means. It's part of our discussion. Compassion means a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune. And then the last part is very nice. Accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. A lot of times I say, I feel so sad for you, I see what you're going through, and it's so difficult, especially when we talk about the conditioned souls. But do we have the inspiration, the enthusiasm, the determination to try to do something to alleviate the suffering? We can see what the suffering is. Prabhupada's describing it here. People are acting like fools. They're running after sense gratification, and in some cases he calls it a will o' the wisp, or the egg of a horse, or the flower in the sky, all these things that don't exist. But we're running after sense gratification that really doesn't exist. We've been discussing this a lot in a group of devotees that I've been working with. Who is enjoying? Or what is enjoying? Like if I take my hand, give me your hand, Prabhu. I feel this wonderful, nice devotee's hand, so nice. Am I actually conscious of that exchange, meaning the spirit soul? It's like we think because we think everything's happening here, we're seeing things with our eyes. How is that happening? What is that process? Practically none of you can describe it. I gave the example, you may be familiar with something called a submarine. You know what a submarine is? You want me to give you a class on the submarine? Say you do, so I don't have to explain every detail. So a submarine is this ship that goes under the water, very deep. And in order for them to see what's above the water, they have what's called a periscope, which goes up above the water and looks around. And then the person inside the ship can see what's going on and send his bombs and cause all kinds of destruction. So is the spirit soul down here, because it's in the heart, we're in the heart with the super soul. So are we down here looking through a periscope, the eyeballs, and seeing everything around us? Yeah. Is that how it works? Because the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are carried out by nature. We're not doing anything, but we think we do everything. We think we are enjoying. We are not the enjoyers. We're the we have a field of activities, and we can observe that field of activities within our purview. This body is our field of activities. But you only know what's happening in your body, right? That's all. If I reach over, you don't know what's happening in my body. I don't know what's happening in your body. We have a limited field. The super soul of the Lord is called the knower of all the fields of activity. But we think ourselves to be enjoyers. All the things that we try to enjoy are provided by God, by way of the material nature. Annat bhavati bhutani prajanya abhisanubha. He's giving food rains, he's giving rain. And what do we do to reciprocate with him? Prabhupada says, we try to find some way to get around the suffering. We spend our time trying to figure out a way to alleviate the suffering. Not to alleviate the suffering of others, but our own suffering. But then sometimes we become a little bit smart, or maybe a little bit compassionate, but misplaced compassion. Then we think, let me alleviate his suffering. He needs food, or he needs clothing, or he needs a house. So we start feeling good about ourselves. Oh, I'm doing some good work to help people. But still it's sense gratification. Either my sense gratification or your sense gratification. Prabhupada calls it technically extended sense gratification. Personal or extended. But we cannot change the nature of this world. Dukkhalayam, what's the other one? You can't change that. Prabhupada uses the phrase certified, just like we've heard that phrase many times. This thing is certified 100% that, or certified 300% that. So the material world is certified. You can't change it. Dukkhalayam, ashastra. Temporary, full of misery. But we try to figure out a way to get around it. And Prabhupada calls that demoniac. You can't change the nature of this world. Just like if you go to jail, please don't go there. I always tell the story. I was telling Triyojan that my first Harinam in 1972 with His Holiness Vishnu Janaswami and about 40 other devotees in downtown Atlanta, including Lakshmi Nrsimha from New York, we were arrested. And I'm just a visitor, friend to the temple. I've been coming for a few months, and I was excited to go out with the Swami, and we're downtown chanting Haribo, Haribo. Police came in what we used to call a paddy wagon and locked up all the 40 devotees. I'm thinking, wow. That was very, very interesting. But still, it didn't matter because we had the association with very, very advanced devotees. So in the jail where you don't want to go, actually Prabhupada went to jail one time, not in jail like that, but the government had challenged Prabhupada that your movement or your idea doesn't work for prisoners and the lower class people. And Prabhupada took up the challenge. This is in Yogeshwar's book. He took up the challenge and he went and preached to the prisoners. And they became Krishna conscious. And the government said, very good program. I like this program, it's a good program. So in the jail, the prisoners sometimes complain, I don't like this bed. This food, I don't like it. These clothes, stinky, I don't care for this nonsense. And the people said, fool, why are you in jail? You can't change the nature of the jail. The best thing is to do what? Get out. Control your mind. Same thing as Bhagavad Gita. Control your mind, control your senses, follow the rules and regulations, and eventually, maybe you'll get out. And the Prabhupada describes sometimes, you can become also a first-class prisoner. A first-class prisoner gets a chance to do many different things that the third-class prisoners won't get to do. So the first-class human being has many opportunities that the third-class human being doesn't have. Why? Because they have elevated their consciousness. They've elevated their consciousness to the fact that they can appreciate the higher levels of life. Hopefully, that's what we're all beginning to realize. That by practicing Krishna consciousness, we're experiencing a higher taste. Right? Experiencing a higher taste, ceasing lower engagements. But the problem is, we're so addicted to the lower engagements, that's all we know, and we revert back to that. But luckily, in Krishna consciousness, even if we sometimes slip and revert back to the sense gratification, Krishna is still merciful. Whatever you do in devotional service is always there. And even if you're considered by others to be fallen, what is that verse? Even if you are considered by others to have been fallen, sadhureva samanda, you're still a sadhu if you are rightly situated. What is rightly situated? You can say, what does it mean to be rightly situated in Krishna consciousness? What does it mean? If you don't know, that means maybe you're having a hard time. What does it mean to be rightly situated in Krishna consciousness? Yes, Srila Prabhu.
To take joy in chanting Hare Krishna?
You got it. You relish chanting Hare Krishna. Why? Because you know you have nothing else. The problem is we think we have something else. I'll chant a little bit. I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture this morning, and he was imitating how devotees chant the wrong way. He said, not like this. Prabhupada did that. He said, don't make it like that. Chant each syllable. Hare,
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
What else?
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama
Why do we have such a hard time doing that? It's so hard for me, I'm being honest. Yes, it's not easy. You know why? I got my family to think of, I got my bills to pay, he doesn't like me, he doesn't like me, I'm hungry, I'm sleepy. The sleepy one is the big one, because we all fall asleep. Because we think there's something else. We think there's some other source of pleasure than chanting. Believe me, it's not. And I consider myself to be like a nice example of that because of my background growing up and where I am now after 45 years, I could say, whatever that was back there, I don't care for it anymore. It took a long time to get past that. And I look forward to chanting Hare Krishna. I think, wow, that's pretty nice. It's a great pleasure, not only chanting Hare Krishna, but reading books given to us by Srila Prabhupada. What is that all about? Bhagavatam says, Srinvata Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana, Ridyantastuti Bhadrani, Vidunosis. Krishna, when he sees that you have developed the urge, listen to that word, urge. You really hadn't done much, but you have the urge. It's like we have the urge to eat the Sunday feast, yes?
Yes.
We're ready. As soon as this program's over, we're going to go because we have that urge. So Krishna says, you have the urge to hear about me. You're willing to even spend 5 minutes a day to hear about me. Krishna said, I'm so happy. Even for us, if outside that door, right, Sukada, and someone's outside that door saying, Sukada, 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 your ears will perk up. What are they saying about me? So here we are in this world, and we're saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Or we're chanting some sloka. I don't know, give me a sloka. Who knows a sloka? Verse. Any verse. Don't look like that, give me a verse. Just quote any Bhagavad Gita verse. Any verse. Dehino smenyata. Say it. Dehino smenyata dehe. Who knows that verse? You better know that verse. That's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. What's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita? And what is the verse that gives you the confirmation? Dehino sminyata dehe, komaram yoganam jara, tatadihantara praptir, diyadastatim. Such an important verse. So Krishna knows. He hears every sound we make. So when we say Hare Krishna, he hears that. And he's excited, just like we would be excited if someone's glorifying us. Unfortunately, in the material world, we all like to be glorified. And I say unfortunate because it generally distracts us from our ultimate purpose. In one sense, it's not so bad when people are saying, well, you're a knucklehead, or you're this and you're that, because you can be humble and accept that. Yes, I am very fallen. So Krishna likes to hear you glorify him. Not that Krishna has a big ego. Don't get the wrong impression. Oh, Krishna has such a big ego. He wants everyone to glorify him. No. It's out of compassion that he knows if you glorify him, you make advancement. Now, how does that relate to what Prahlad is saying here? Prahlad is saying, I'm happy. I have no problem. My problem is that you're not happy. That's my problem. I have compassion for the fact that you're not happy, you're suffering. And like the translation of the definition of the word compassion saying that, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. That is the Sankirtan movement. The Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the process. We don't have to create a new process. How to alleviate the sufferings of the conditioned souls. It's a very simple process. We chant Hare Krishna? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm just trying to keep you awake so you don't fall asleep on me. Yes. And by us chanting Hare Krishna, and especially by taking it out to the people who don't chant Hare Krishna, I have no problem. You have no problem. Maybe I've been chanting 16 rounds longer than you, but you really have no problem. You chanted one round. Just say Hare Krishna one time.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
I'm watching these lips.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
You have no more problems. Your problems are over. I just read the other day in, what was it? Balabhadra. Just one time chanting, you could have killed the whole planet. But you won't have to suffer anymore. One time chanting can eradicate all the sins of killing the whole planet. And when I read it, I went, wow. I don't want to get any crazy ideas, but that's heavy. Just like when you go around Tulsi, Brahma Hatyatika Nicha, what is that translation? Even the sin of killing a Brahmana is removed by going around Tulsi. What's the speaker chanting Hare Krishna? All this secret mysticism that we have available, we should not sit on it. Because Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I cannot sit on this. I am happy, but I'm not happy seeing you not happy. Have you ever seen anyone unhappy besides yourself? Because you look in the mirror and go, wow, what a miserable day. I got to go to work. God, kids downstairs and whatever. Government's messing up. My taxes are too high. Your brain just explodes with misery the moment we get up. But for a devotee, the moment the devotee gets up, I'll tell you a secret. Maybe you already know it. Don't make a sound till you say the holy name. Wake up like, oh boy, don't do that. Hold back. Just hold back. And just wait. I mean, what I normally do every morning, I offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Naum Vishnu Hare Krishna Vistai Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Stavasari Deve Gaudavana Charni Visheshas and Yipati Pasta. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Bhagavan. And then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. That took less than a minute. Come on, Prabhus and Mataji's. Less than a minute, we can set our consciousness right. Just by remembering the Guru, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna's Maha Mantra. Then we're ready. But just imagine in Philadelphia, I don't know the number of people that live in Philadelphia. I know in Atlanta it's 6.7 million people. How about Philadelphia? I don't know. 6, 7 million people. How many of those people wake up in the morning, Hare Krishna? Yeah. I mean, the holy name is such a special thing for everyone. It's not exclusive to us. It's meant for everyone's liberation. So, Prahlad is saying that I'm not happy seeing that others are unhappy. You have to, first of all, understand that people are unhappy. Just because they have a nice suit, and they're drinking a Starbucks coffee, and they work at a job making $150,000 a year, they went to IIT, or they went to MIT, or XYZ, who cares? The time of death, I went to IIT, oh good, come on, you're finished. I have a PhD, very good, get in line, you're finished. Your PhD won't save you at the time of death, right? You cannot. Your money cannot save you. Someone gave the example the other day about Steve Jobs, how he passed away, and then he had millions and millions of dollars, and so on and so forth. So we have to first recognize that people are suffering. Prahlad Maharaj recognizes. Sometimes we don't. Why? Because we're still attached ourselves. If we say they're suffering, that means I'm suffering. And I don't want to say I'm suffering. Because we all have to go after money. So if I say that they're going after money, they're suffering, that means reflectively, I'm also suffering. We should recognize that. But we should also recognize how to get past the suffering as Vaishnavas. One thought I had was practical application of our philosophy. When we say philosophy, it's a little bit nebulous when you start talking about philosophy. Like you may say, that was a philosophical class. Maybe, okay, fine. But what does that really mean? You think, well, the words were very sophisticated words, elevated words, and the concepts were very deep and rich. I was telling Trilochan that back in 1970-something, a devotee from the Philadelphia area, Gohari Prabhu. Anyone remember Gohari? Gohari was a very interesting devotee. So he was giving a Bhagavatam class in Atlanta one day. Actually, it was at Gita Nagari mostly. So he gave this class one day. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, because we had a Wonderful kirtan. In Atlanta, we used to have these crazy kirtans where you bounce off the wall practically, just running around. It was ecstatic. And Gohari at the end of his class said, let's take all of this ecstasy out to the street. And we went out for Harinam Sankirtan. He said, we don't want to just stay in here with all this ecstasy. Let's take it out and give it to the people. Some of you have seen that movie, Happiness on 2nd Avenue. The original Hare Krishna Temple, 2nd Avenue, New York. It's a very nice movie. And Brahmananda is standing there, and there's all these new people, brand new people coming to the temple. And at the end of the program, Brahmananda stands up with folded hands, and he says, now we're all going to go out on the street and spread the love of God. And the whole temple room empties out. Now, if I were to say that today, we're all going to go out down that driveway, take a left, and take a right on Germantown Road. And go down for 1 mile and come back 1 mile, and we're going to get prasad and books and preach. You probably all said, Balabhadra, you're flipping out, man. Calm down. We're excited, but not that excited. That's how simple it is to preach. Walk out this door, walk down the street, take a right. There's a nice park, maybe about a mile down the road. There's a park down there. I saw it one day. What's it called? Something like that. We should be there. Why should we be there? Because people are suffering. Now, people are suffering there. People are suffering at the universities. People are suffering in the mansions all over the country and the world. Are we satisfied with that? Yes or no? No means prasad. Yes means I don't know what you're thinking. We're not satisfied with it. Why? Because Prahlad Maharaj is giving us the example. Is Prahlad one of the Mahajanas? Who knows? How many Mahajanas are there? 12. 12. And he's one. Prahlad, Bhishma. Who else? Bali Maharaj. Prahlad is one of the Mahajanas. Mahajano yena katha sapanta. What does that mean? Speak up louder. Prahlad's a Mahajana. We should follow him. I am not happy. I am happy because I have Krishna consciousness, but I'm not happy that you don't have Krishna consciousness. So for us, the process is really simple. So our philosophy, practically applied, is like we say, Samo Dhamastapasacham Shantar Arjunamevacha Jnana Vijnana Astikam Rama Karma Sabhavacha. What does that mean? Jnana Vijnana. What does Vijnana mean? Everyone knows what Jnana. Knowledge. I know so many verses. I know so many stories. I have all this knowledge. But have you practically applied that knowledge? Vijnana. Realize. And it's also called wisdom. Realize knowledge is wisdom. You become wise when you apply this philosophy. I heard it said one time at a meeting, not a devotee meeting, but a meeting. The guy said, you should take whatever you hear today, whatever you learn today, and teach it within 48 hours. No more than 48 hours. Whatever you learn today, go teach it. Someone was asking me about, how did you get trained for Sankirtan? My temple president in 1975 told me, I said, I want to get to learn how to do Sankirtan, learn all the things. At that time, Vaishya was in Atlanta, Swabhas was there, so many big devotees were there. He told me, no, you go and preach what you know. Whatever you hear in the Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class, you go and tell it. Because then it's like you feel that. You realize that. And you're trying to share your realizations with others because you care about them. Yes or no? Yes, of course. Yes. And I was explaining to one devotee this morning that in selling, there's a very famous statement in selling. Selling is a transference of conviction. That's the key to being a good salesperson. You're convinced about a product, now I'm convincing you that this is a good product. That's called advertising. So in Krishna consciousness, when you're trying to present Krishna consciousness to others, it makes sense to present what you know. When you start talking about demigods on other planets, the yugas and the ages, the person who doesn't know anything is like, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make sense to them. But when you can say with absolute assurance that Krishna consciousness has done what for you? has Krishna consciousness done for you? Think about it for a second. If I ask you, or what's your name again, Prabhu?
Devaki Deva.
Got a wonderful name. So what has Krishna consciousness done for you? You've been a devotee many years and worked and served in this temple so nicely.
I'm going to say happiness and peace.
How difficult is that to tell a person? You're showing them the book, so this book has brought me happiness and peace. The man goes, I have no happiness, I have no peace. Maybe it'll help me. And you say, yes, because it helped me. It's a very simple process. So, from the platform of compassion, that's the platform that leads to preaching. Please try to understand. If you try to preach any other way, you will be frustrated. It doesn't work the other way. When you try to preach Krishna consciousness because you care about the suffering conditioned souls, your preaching is extremely powerful because it's following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, at the age of 69, left India, became 70 years old, he came to America. That had to be compassion, wouldn't you say? Why would an old man like that do that? Unless he had compassion, unless he was trying to follow the example of Prahlad. See it nicely, bro. He's giving donations. Wonderful. He's inspired me. Maybe I'll come out with a couple of times. He's definitely a Prahlad. He's probably 5 years old anyway. So Prabhupada gave us the example. And I just want, before my time runs out, I want to share a couple of things that I've put down here for you. Just like we say, everyone say it with me. Vancha kalpa tarupasya upasila vayavata patitana padivyo vaishnavyo nomaha. The reason I put that verse there because the word compassion comes up again. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. This is very nice. I'm going to try to get to part of this. There's another verse, and it's from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto. The translation, any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada says, we'll jump to this part, as far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna. Now, did you understand what he said? When a devotee is satisfied, aren't we all trying to become satisfied in Krishna consciousness? Yes or no? Yes, we're trying.
Yes.
But if we don't preach, see, Prabhupada's so brilliant. He says, as far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered a first-class devotee. Even though we're satisfied in our Krishna consciousness, we're chanting our japa, we're doing all these wonderful services, but if we don't preach, not first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons, who have no knowledge of Krishna, which is the majority of the people, not only Philadelphia, but the whole planet, the billions of people on this planet. I saw something the other day from some devotee, I think it might have been the GBC. They calculated there's about 5 million people who are following ISKCON and Krishna consciousness. 5 million, I hadn't heard that figure before. How many people on this planet? How many billion? 6?
6 billion. 6 or 7.
5 million is like not even a drop in the bucket. Not even a flick of it. Like, that's not it. 6 billion. My sister is a Jehovah's Witness. She told me a couple of years ago. They have a plan. Their plan is to give one of their books to every person on this planet. They're everywhere.
I tried to see the bodies. I tried.
But the point is simple. They have a plan to give every person a book. In Philadelphia, can we even conceive of such a plan?
We may.
First of all, we have to get 6 million books. But can we conceive of such a thing? Are we bold enough? Let me say it like this. Are we bold enough to conceive of such a thing? Or are we satisfied with whatever number we have right now? Whatever that number is, I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but it's not touching the 6 million people in this city. And they are suffering. And we have the medicine. We have the antidote. We have the cure. I heard another story one time. This guy said he gave the example of a fuzzy pill. He said, this fuzzy pill can cure all diseases in the world. Would you keep it in your pocket or would you go and give it to people? And the answer was, if you care, you give it to the people. You don't try to make a lot of money. You can save the whole world with this pill. So these books, this chanting Hare Krishna, can actually save the world. Can we conceive of doing that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Are we bold enough to even consider doing that? Are we willing to sacrifice our energy and our time and our money and our intelligence to organize to do that? Let's hear a little bit more from Srila Prabhupada, because now he talks about Prahlad Maharaj. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons, who have no knowledge of Krishna, is a superior devotee. In his prayer to the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that he was not personally interested in liberation from this material world. Rather, he did not wish to be liberated from this material condition until all fallen souls were delivered. Even in the material field, if a person is not interested in others' welfare, he should be considered to be condemned by the personality of God. Now, the last thing I want to share, and hopefully we have a minute for a discussion, is this incredible letter from Srila Prabhupada. Now, please, I ask you to, parachute your brain, open them up, listen, try to understand what Prabhupada is saying. He wrote it from Bombay in 1977. When did Prabhupada pass away from this world? November 14th, 1977. So this is just before his passing. These are the last thoughts of Prabhupada. Now, one thing about Prabhupada's letters, he would write them to specific devotees, but it's meant for all of us. This letter was actually sent to the devotees in Germany. Let's see what Prabhupada says. My dear beloved disciples, please accept my blessings. I know that over the past years you have suffered so many tribulations to push forward Krishna consciousness in Germany. But this has not stopped you from your determination to serve the cause of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A devotee is pleased when there is difficulty, for in these difficulties he is forced to remember Krishna. We cannot expect that the people of Kali Yuga will welcome our attempts to spread Krishna consciousness. It is just like a lunatic asylum. The patients are running around madly, and when the doctor tries to give them treatment, they insist that they are not crazy. So when you try to get people's books, they go, I don't need that. I'm okay, I'm fine. Like lunatics, practically. Sometimes the patient even strikes the doctor. Now, most of you, how many of you have actually gone out with chanting or trying to distribute books? Probably not that many, but some of you have. There was a devotee named Prabhu who was distributing books at the Chicago airport many years ago. And this gentleman came up and punched him, knocked him down on his back at the airport. Prabhu laid there for a second, thought about Srila Prabhupada, got right up, and went on distributing books. One devotee in Atlanta, one man grabbed his hand and practically broke his hand. But he got up, went on preaching. So Prabhupada was saying sometimes a crazy man will slap the doctor. The doctor's trying to give him medicine to help him, he'll fight him. So don't expect that people will say, oh, you're so nice. You're out here on Broad Street in downtown Philly. I'm so happy to see you. Don't expect that. You might get it, but don't expect it. Generally, people will say, I don't need that. And especially from India, a lot of times people from India, they say, I know Bhagavad Gita, I don't need it. I'm already having this book. Then I tell them, well, do you have that book? And they go, I haven't seen that one. Devotees in Europe, like in Germany, they would keep like 12 books or something. And the person says, I've seen that one. Oh, good. Let me show you this one. And they find one they haven't seen. Then they will sell that book. So anyway, if they don't like us, that's fine. So then he says, so our task is like that. We cannot stand to see people suffering due to ignorance. We can't tolerate it. is that ignorance? They do not know that they are not their body. First lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Dehi no asmanyatare omaram yovanam jara tatadi andara prapti dhirastatanam uyati. This Krishna consciousness movement is meant to deliver people to the proper understanding that they are not their body, that they are pure spirit soul. We may or may not be appreciated. That is not our concern. We must execute the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Yare de Katare Kaha Krishna Upadesh Amaragya Guru Hai Tara Edesh. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 7:128. Whomever you meet, now this is an instruction to all of us. Don't think Lord Chaitanya said this 500 years ago and he said it to the Bengalis. He's saying it to all of us, especially India. Bharata Bhumite Manusya Jamayar Jamasartakari Para Upaka. If you're born in Bharatvarsa, India, perfect your life, and out of compassion, give Krishna consciousness to others. But in this verse, he says, whomever you meet, instruct them to follow the orders of Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, by my order, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So our business, now remember this is Prabhupada's letter. So our business is to satisfy the acharyas and Krishna. If they are pleased, then we know our work is successful. Go on spreading the Sankirtan movement more and more. I am only one person, Prabhupada is saying. But because all of you have kindly cooperated with me, this movement has now become successful all over the world. Be assured that there is no more direct way to preach than to distribute Krishna-conscious books. Whomever gets a book is benefited. If he reads the book, he is benefited still more. So he's saying, if they just get the book, they're good. But if they read it, it's even better. Even if one does not read the book, but simply holds it and sees it, he is benefited. That's why when you give people, when you want to distribute a book, make sure you put it in their hand. Don't just say, have you seen this? You put it in their hand and say, have you seen this? They've touched it now. Their life will change. Very important. If he simply gives small donation towards the work of Krishna consciousness, he is benefited. Those who know my story know that the devotee who gave me the first book, I only had 35 cents in my pocket for bus fare to come home from work. He took my 35 cents and gave me a book, but that changed my life, okay? Any small donation. If he simply gives small donation towards this work, he's benefited. And anyone who distributes these transcendental literatures, he is also benefited. Therefore, Sankirtan is the prime benediction for the age. Now, what I really want to say is that next week, I heard at the program the other night, Vishnu Gadal was telling Krishna Maharaj that next Saturday there's a Maha Sankirtan Festival. Yes?
Yes.
You've all heard about that, right? Yeah. Monthly Sankirtan Festival. This monthly Sankirtan Festival was started by the compassion and the mercy of my dear godbrother, Vaishya Sikha. I had the great fortune of working with him when we were both brahmacharis in Atlanta, and I know his heart. Unbelievable heart and love and compassion for people. Every day, he would eat a big, huge plate of prasadam and go on Sankirtan 10, 12 hours a day, distributing books like crazy. He always quoted this verse, the first sloka of the, Shikshastakam. Who knows that sloka? Cheto Darvanam Artanam Baba Mahadava Vinyavadanam Shreya Kaira Karanam Vijavidu Jivanam Anandam Udivardhanam Pratibadam Purnanita Swadanam Sarvagna Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna. And in that verse is saying, it's the prime benediction for humanity. Sankirtan. So, with the support of, I know Ramcharan Prabhu is more or less our book distribution person, but also with the support of the Temple Support Committee headed by Vishnu Gadal Prabhu, there's going to be a wonderful Sankirtan festival next week. And it's going to happen every month because the board of directors here, we've already said, this is extremely important for the future of this temple. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes means prasad. No means go hungry. We're opening a new temple. Historic, as I said the last time. This is historic in North America. There's very few temples built by devotees in North America. Here's one. I went there today. It's very beautiful. But it will sit there like a box unless we go out and invite people to come here. It'll be there. It'll be nice. Like Trilocha was telling me earlier. It'll be nice on Sunday, but that's about it. We'll all be here. But if we go out and invite people, they will definitely come. So that is the compassion. So I humbly request, and I was telling Anutama Prabhu this morning, as I spoke to them, I said, I'm going to tell the people here today. I don't know if a lot of you were aware that recently there was a big march in Washington. All the young people came marching against guns. And Martin Luther King's granddaughter spoke at that event. And Martin Luther King is famous for saying, I have a dream. Yes. I can imitate it because I'm from Georgia. I have a dream. So his little granddaughter says, I have a dream. My grandfather had a dream, but I have a dream for a gun-free world. So I actually have a dream that next Saturday, at least 50 devotees from this community will go out on Harinam and book distribution with Ramcharan Prabhu and Vishnu Vidal. I have that feeling that we can do that. Is that possible?
Yes.
Is it possible? Because the ones who say yes, I'm taking note. He said yes. She said yes. In Atlanta, I do Harinam every month. We have Prabhupada Saturday. At least 40 devotees come. And some of them come from as far away as 150 miles. I have little children, old people. And if you're older, don't come looking at me because I'm also older. That ain't no excuse. Excuse my English. I'm too old. Prabhupada was 69 years old when he got on the boat. I'm not asking you to get on the boat. Just come over here to the temple, and Ramcharan can tell you what time, and you can carpool, and we go on Harinam. Is that okay?
Yes.
But if you don't say something, I'm going to keep going. Is that okay?
Yeah.
If you can't do that, okay, I understand. But try your best to come here next Saturday for the Shingade's appearance day. And Vishnu Vidal is so kind. He called me in Atlanta and we said, well, how long should everyone stay on Sankirtan? We decided just 2 hours. Just give 2 hours of your time to give the compassionate mercy in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hari Bol.